Nightwing number 19, written by Kyle Higgins, art by Brett Booth. So, last issue, Nightwing received the news that Tony Zuko, the man who killed his parents, Nightwing's parents, is still alive. And then in some intermediate issue, I think in like Batman or Detective Comics, he decided to go off to Chicago. And this issue picks up with him in Chicago, where he's jumping over some rooftops. We're catching him in media res. He's being chased down by the police, and he's being shot at repeatedly. And as a few of the shots connects with his back, he's like, ow, that really hurt. So he has to tumble down. And I don't even know, like, they're cops, but they're rappelling down from helicopters. And they're like, all right, Mask, get down on your knees. And Nightwing goes, boy, to think I wanted to go to Chicago. Flashback to yesterday. The mayor is opening a rebuilt train line. And he says, oh, we've had a few cyber attacks recently here in Chicago from that no-good, dirty prankster. But Chicago's bouncing back, so here's a good train line. And we see out in the crowd is Nightwing. And the mayor goes off on this whole long thing about, like, Chicago does not tolerate vigilantism. No, no, no. So he cuts the ribbon, and Nightwing meets up with a guy named Michael, who is basically saying, hey, yeah, Grayson, you're here for the apartment. Yeah, if you're only going to be staying a few weeks, no problem. My roommate's out for a while, so you'll be subletting. Don't worry about rent and all that. We're already squared away off panel. And so he gets the keys, and Nightwing's like, yeah, I lost most of my money because of Amusement Mile burning down, and this was kind of short notice, so I actually have to have a roommate while doing my Nightwing stuff, but I have to find Tony Zuko, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, the train line that's just opened up apparently goes right by his window, so he uses that to get around the city as Nightwing. Cut to elsewhere, some random bar. We get a guy named Hutchinson, Corey. I'm going to call him Corey. Corey is a dude who makes deliveries that contain certain chemicals, and there's a guy named Spade who's basically shaking him down for information. He's threatening him, and he's like, hey, I know all this stuff about your life. I know where your mother lives. I know about your children. I'm going to tell your wife that you're stepping out on her unless you give me the info I need. And Corey's like, oh, here's when the deliveries are made. And then there's a girl that's next to him, all of a sudden jumps up with a knife and has like a schizophrenic split where she's talking to herself and saying, oh, we're going to hurt him a lot. No, we can't hurt him. Oh, but we have to hurt him. Maybe just hurt him a little bit. And she does this for a full page against Spade until Nightwing steps in and was like, okay, you're crazy, aren't you? And so she goes to attack Nightwing. She's got like throwing knives and stuff like that as well, to the point where she throws a drink in Nightwing's face, and Nightwing just runs out. He never deals with her. They never talk about her. They say she's something of a mimic, and then that's it. So anyway, he goes up to the roof, and he talks to Spade, and was like, hey, Spade, I didn't come for whatever that was. I actually came for you. Here you know a lot of info. I'm looking for a guy named Tony Zuko. He's got all these different, like, names or whatever he goes by. And he's like, okay, well, I can look into it, but what's in it for me? And he's like, well, I think that depends on what you find, but just know that I'm able to give you anything you need. So at that point, the cops show up. They say this is the police. We go into the opening sequence, as we already saw. And then we see Dix looking at all the cops and was like, all right, how do I figure out which one to take down based off of who's least likely to shoot me? And he does all this weird, like, oh, this guy's got an accelerated heart rate, and this guy has poor trigger discipline. So he ends up attacking them and taking out all their guns away. And he jumps through the helicopter in order to get to the other side, which messes with the helicopter drivers to the point where the chopper is about to crash. And Dick's like, okay, well, I can't just let that happen. So he gets back into the chopper, pulls out the two drivers, or flyers, pilots, that's the word, and gets them out right before it explodes into the same train line that just opened up that day. So he's like, oh, geez, I was trying to keep a low profile. This isn't good for me. Cut to the mayor getting in a car, talking to his aide, and they're like, oh, there was a tip that Nightwing was going to be there, and we think it came from the prankster. And the mayor's like, prankster, why is he helping us? I mean, whatever, as long as it's against those filthy masks. And the aide says, by the way, we have some leads that he's asking around about a Tony Zuko. Should we put out a APB for him just to keep an eye out before Nightwing gets to him? And the mayor's like, I mean, yeah, sure, do it in the morning. It's not that big of a rush. So then the mayor drives away, and we see the driver of the mayor is Tony Zuko. And I think the mayor is aware of it because he says, and what do you think about all this, Tony? So, yeah, that's a thing. Anyway, the next morning, you'd think that's the final page. It seems like the cliffhanger, but it's not. Because we get this one final thing here of the next morning in the Chicago Steelworks where there's a politician who's been doing some like child trafficking and racketeering, and he's thrown down into this like jigsaw-esque pit, and he's brought this big briefcase of money saying, here it is, I brought it, now you leave me alone. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that yet. There's a lighter down there. Go ahead and light that lighter up. And when the guy lights up the lighter, he sees a wolf in front of him. And he's like, here's the thing. That wolf is afraid of fire. But that lighter is not going to be big enough in order to keep the wolf away. The only way that you're going to be able to do it is if you start burning that money little by little. And I'm going to call the police to come save you in 60 minutes. However, that's only just as much money as you have to keep you alive. So you better start burning it all. And he's like, what? But you said I could buy my life back. And then we see the image of who I'm assuming is the prankster saying, yes, Alderman, and it's up to you how long. Otherwise, where's the prank? Honestly, it doesn't seem like much of a prank to me either. I mean, maybe one of those like YouTube pranks that's not actually a prank. It's just mean. But no, this is just jigsaw stuff. This is just, oh, you love your money more than anything else. The key is behind your eye. So overall, do I enjoy Nightwing's first outing into Chicago? It's fine. It's not great. It's just there. It's not doing anything that I don't feel like could have been accomplished in Gotham, barring the fact of there's this very top-down no masks policy, which I guess they couldn't do in Gotham, but I don't know. It seems very... I'm waiting for the reason to see why we're in Chicago, and I don't think this issue is really given it yet. It's just kind of to shake it up and say, hey, we don't really want to do Bloodhaven, but he's out of Gotham. Isn't that what you want Nightwing to have his own city? Now he's got his own city. Despite the fact that he's not really doing a lot of crime stopping yet. He's kind of just focused on the one thing. So we'll see when we get to Nightwing accepting Chicago as his city. Overall, though, the plots are decently set up. The only one I kind of feel iffy about is Prankster, but they could easily turn it into something good very quickly. I just need to know more about them. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it a flat 7. It feels around that range. Not doing anything great, but it's not awful yet. I will say Brett Booth art, especially on the first few pages, but by the time we get to the end, where it's more like action fight scene stuff, I'm more okay with it. It's when he's talking to his new roommate that I cringed a little. It's not great.